Have you ever picked up a book by some famous thinker, started reading, and just felt completely lost? Yeah, you are not alone. Today we're talking about a guy who is famous for that, Pierre Bourdieu. He's one of the most important social thinkers of the last century, but man, he can be really, really tough to get through. So that's what we're here to do. We're going to demystify him.
Bourdieu actually had a pretty sharp sense of humor about his own work. He once called his deep dive into the French university system a book for burning. Now, why on earth would a genius say his own book should be set on fire? Well, it kind of gets at the central paradox of who he was.
Because let's be honest, his work can feel incredibly intimidating. He even said he was in a permanent struggle against ordinary language, which is why he's got all these unique terms and sentences that go on for days. So our goal here is simple. We're going to be your translator. We're going to turn his book for burning into a book for reading, making his amazing ideas totally accessible without dumbing them down. To really get his ideas, you first have to get the man. And Bourdieu's whole intellectual project, everything he wrote, is so deeply shaped by his own personal journey. It's this classic story of the outsider who makes it to the very center of power, and then turns around and starts analyzing the whole system.
So picture this. He was born in a small village in rural France. His dad was a civil servant, so not poor, but definitely not part of that fancy Parisian elite. And yet, this kid climbs the academic ladder all the way to the absolute peak. He gets into the most elite schools and eventually lands the most prestigious sociology job in all of France. This journey made him both an insider and an outsider at the same time. And that double vision, that became his intellectual superpower.
But the real turning point, the moment that changed everything for him, was when he was conscripted into the army and sent to Algeria. And that new mission, to be useful, to do real research, led him straight into a major intellectual battle. You see, when Bourdieu was coming up, French thought was basically dominated by two giant opposing theories, and he saw it as his mission to take on both of them, like slaying two dragons.
Okay, so on one side you had subjectivism. Think Jean-Paul Sartre. This is the idea that society is just what we think it is. It's all in our heads. But for Bourdieu, that totally ignored the real objective forces out there. Then on the other side, you had objectivism. This was the idea that we're all just puppets, right? Cogs in a machine controlled by these big, unseen social structures. And for Bourdieu, that was just as bad because it completely erased real people and their ability to think and act.
Bourdieu looked at this whole debate and thought it was just a false choice. He called it the absurd opposition between individual and society. He felt like social science was totally stuck in the dead end, and he was absolutely determined to find a way out. He just refused to believe that we had to pick between a world of free-willed individuals and a world run by all-powerful structures. And this, right here, brings us to his great breakthrough. See, he didn't just critique those two big ideas. He actually built a bridge between them. He created this incredible new synthesis that would literally change social theory forever. He called his big project genetic structuralism. Now, I know, it sounds super academic and complicated, but the core idea is actually beautiful and profound. It's all about understanding how the world out there, social rules, institutions, and the world in here, our thoughts, our habits, our gut feelings, are not two separate things at all. In fact, they create each other. So it's not a big battle of structures versus individuals, it's a feedback loop. The social world we're born into shapes how we think and act, a lot of times without us even noticing it. But then, and this is the crucial part, our daily actions, our choices, our habits, they either reinforce those very same structures or they start to change them. He brought real, living, breathing people back into the picture of how society works.
So, why does all this matter today? Why should we care about this feedback loop? Because, as one person famously put it, Bourdieu is just enormously good to think with. His work gives us these incredible tools to understand our own lives and the world around us on a much, much deeper level. He absolutely lived by this motto. He wasn't some armchair philosopher just coming up with ideas in a vacuum. No way. His big theories were always grounded in meticulous, real-world research. Everything from fieldwork in Algeria to massive surveys of what French people like to eat and listen to. He showed everyone how to connect the big ideas with the hard evidence. So when you boil it all down, his legacy is just huge. First, he bridged that gap between theory and research.
Second, he solved that massive problem, giving us a way out of the whole structure versus individual debate. Third, he made researchers get real about their own biases. And finally, and maybe this is the most important part for us, his work forces us to ask some really tough, really important questions about our world and our own place in it. Which really leaves us with this one big question to take with you. Bourdieu's entire life's work is an invitation to look at our own lives and ask this: how do the invisible rules of our world, our family, our education, our culture, how do they shape the things we like, the jobs we want, and the choices we honestly believe are 100% our own? It's a tough question for sure, but it's one that is definitely good to think with.